goodness, it's Friday. We made it. Thanks for being with us. I'm Amy Hockert. This is All Day Live. Jared and I were just chatting about fall fishing and how much we love fall fishing. And then I looked up and I said, I guess we're starting. Can't hear anything. So I can though today. Jared, we had major problems earlier in the week with the IFB. We're all good to go now though. We're rocking and rolling on this Friday, and hopefully you are having a really good one. Jared is here. He's going to talk to us about the forecast. I know some of you are getting ready for pheasant hunting this weekend as well. So we'll talk about that. We know they're fighting a small but a wildfire up on the North Shore as well. So we'll get you up to speed on that. We have quite a few interviews today that we want to share with you. We are going to be talking about the future of downtown Duluth. Many of you have gone to Duluth, and maybe you've only spent time kind of in the Canal Park area. So what does downtown need to look like? Big plans ahead, and sooner rather than later. So we're going to talk to folks in Duluth about what they're planning. We are actually going to take you as well to what's being described as the Taylor Swift Halloween house. Is that right? Lorna Drago, of course, had to check this out, and so she's going to take us there. Apparently, they even talked about it on the New Heights podcast this past week. So it's all the buzz right now. We are also in just a little bit here in about 30 minutes from now. We're going to check in. If you were watching us yesterday, Conversations on a Bench is something that's been happening for the last 22 hours straight, live stream at Gospel Union Mission, and the CEO has been sitting there and having different conversations with different people, and people could ask questions, and so she's been doing that now. She's coming on 24 hours, so we're going to talk to her in about 30 minutes and see how the night has gone with that effort to raise awareness about homelessness. The Minnesota Wild, they had their season opener. It was on the road, but what a game, what a statement right out of the gate. Super exciting. Alexis, formerly known as Pearson, will be here. She got married since we last saw her, and so she's going to be joining us, and we're excited to catch up with her as well. Also, we're really excited about a conversation we're having at the end of next hour. Eric Decker. Does that name sound familiar? Maybe you followed him when he was a football player in Cold Spring. Maybe you know that he's one of the most decorated Gopher players ever. He's going to be joining us here as he gets ready for homecoming weekend at the U. It's an exciting time, beautiful weather, and we're going to catch up with him because also, if you watch Special Forces here on Fox, he and his wife, Jesse James Decker, are both on Special Forces this season, so we'll talk to him a little bit later. And then, this is like the crown jewel. Not that everything else isn't important and wonderful, but the crown jewel of today really is happening at 1 o'clock. If you can join us live, please do. If not, we'll post it. It is Medicare Q&A with an expert who can answer all your questions. I tested her. We talked for an hour the other day. She answered everything, corrected me. I was wrong about a bunch of stuff. So she is part of the team that oversees the hotline, the state hotline. They get it all. They get everything. She's going to be joining us. Kelly Jo will join us at 1 o'clock from 1 to about 1:30. We're going to be taking live questions from you, and we've already got a bunch to line up for her. So please stay with us here. A jam-packed 2-hour show. Before we get to Jared and some of these other headlines, we wanted to tell you about a couple of stories that we're following right now. So Amber has been making some calls on this one. This is Red Wing, and it sounds like there was some sort of a school threat this morning. What do you know? A
possible school threat.
Okay.
So somebody sent us an email that they received from the school district this morning saying that there was a threat received at one of the schools a little after 7 o'clock. The school initially canceled class at the middle and high school. Elementary schoolers were said good to go. Then a little bit later, they said, we don't think the threat's legit. Everybody's good to go ahead and go to school now. Okay, so all the students, about 2,000 students, are in class. Then they come back and say, actually, we're still not sure about the credibility of this threat. So they're still investigating. I gave them a call this morning to confirm some of this info. The district told me that they're not on a lockdown. They're calling this a secure as they're looking into this possible threat. But again, they're not calling it a lockdown, and they're not really giving us any information at this time about any details around that threat. But Amy, that's really all I've got right now. I've got emails out, I've got calls out. So far, not much back.
Okay, all right. Well, you'll continue to watch that one for us and let us know what's going on there. Also, you're tracking this too, and this is sort of, sorry, I'm just reading about this right now. This is news to me. Are you going to do the Tennessee? Do you want to just mention it really quick?
Yeah, we can talk about it quick here. I'm going to grab you that super
hour west of Nashville, several people have died, secondary blasts here. Yeah. So some sort of explosion at an explosives manufacturing plant.
Yeah, a manufacturing facility. Okay. Initially this morning there were reports out there that this might have been a military base. It's not. It's a manufacturing facility. Unclear how many people impacted. These are some of the images that we're getting from local news outlets down there in the Nashville area, again in Bucksnort, Tennessee, about an hour away out of Nashville.
Okay. All right, we'll keep an eye on that as well. Something happening nationally that I wanted to bring to you. We wanted to run through a few more things here, and we want to cover the shutdown, the government shutdown, and I wanted to try to find some nuggets here to help people understand some of the basics, kind of the fundamentals here. We're in day 10 now of the shutdown, and there are no votes expected from the Senate now until next week, Tuesday. So this looks like where we're going to be sitting until at least next week, Tuesday. Just a couple of things to kind of ground us all in what exactly is happening. The agencies that are affected: Homeland Security, Treasury, Agriculture, Interior, HUD, Justice, Commerce, Transportation, and State. And you may be hearing things like, are people going to get back pay? Are they not? And we're hearing some different things. So I wanted to try to parse that out a little bit. Each of those agencies needs to determine which of their employees are essential and non-essential. And the non-essential employees are furloughed. The essential employees are required to work through the shutdown, but they don't get paid until the government funding is restored. We are seeing this with the air traffic controllers, right? You might be wondering, well, air traffic control, isn't that essential? Yes, but they're not getting paid, which is why some of them have been calling in, which is why it's layering on top of an already sensitive situation with low staffing numbers the way it is with air traffic control. Essential workers are also like military personnel on active duty, law enforcement officers, other public safety officers. So those are essential employees who continue working, but they don't get paid until the back end. And then you have the non-essential employees who are furloughed. There are approximately 380,000 federal employees who have been placed on this unpaid furlough through the shutdown. So they are not receiving any pay either. Okay, so we have these two groups. And again, nobody receives a paycheck. It's just whether you're showing up or you're not showing up. So back pay. We've heard, you may have heard President Trump a couple of days ago say, I heard the comment as well, where reporters asked him, would federal employees be receiving back pay for this? And he kind of indicated, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was, well, we'll see, kind of making it sound like it depends. And so that has definitely been in the headlines. But something to know, so under federal law, the federal employees who are essential, the ones working without pay, working right now, are guaranteed the pay that they have earned when the government reopens. The non-essential furloughed employees, so these are, again, non-essential to national parks, Environmental Protection Agency, they'll return typically to their job once the government shutdown ends, but after it was 2018, 2019, Congress passed something called the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act of 2019, and that was to ensure that all federal employees receive back pay for the shutdown period once the government opens. The only people that wouldn't be subject to that would be the contractors, right? Federal contractors, and there's tens of thousands of them. But so those are the two categories, and so when you're hearing things like, are they going to get back pay or not, or just so you know the law, that doesn't guarantee anything, I guess, moving forward, but just so you kind of understand the tent poles of what we're talking about here. So I can go into a little bit more later, but I think that's probably enough for now, just to kind of absorb some of that and understand some of that context. All right, speaking of National Guard troops, let's see. They're in more cities, and also just so you know, the National Guard troops, the ones that have already been activated. So we're talking about these cities like Memphis now. Those activations are standing, but during a federal government shutdown, no additional activations can happen. So again, this is kind of where we'll sit for a while. But we know that the National Guard has been deployed in Washington, D.C., now Memphis, Chicago, and will remain on duty. So in Memphis, the National Guard was seen along with Memphis police for the first time today around an area called the Pyramid. This is a local landmark there. The Associated Press reporting that the troops were being escorted by a Memphis police officer. They were taking photos with visitors who were standing outside, and unclear how many Guard members were on the ground or how many are expected to arrive. But this is the first we're kind of seeing them in Memphis proper. And let's see, similar situations, of course, in Portland. That's all on hold right now. It's tied up in the courts, and I think that's kind of the latest on that update. All right, and then as long as we're giving you some updates here, one more big one, and this is one we've been following for last day and a half or so, and this is the very latest on the ceasefire agreement in the Middle East. It went into effect at midnight, so bringing you up to speed of where we are at this moment. And the first phase is now complete. The Israeli military has released a statement saying that, let's see, they started positioning themselves along that updated deployment line to prepare for the return for hostages. So that completes the first phase of this agreement. There's the 72-hour period to release all 48 remaining Israeli hostages from Gaza, and Israel believes that 20 are still alive. And Israel has also released a list naming 250 Palestinian prisoners that it will release. Meantime, I don't know if you've been watching the news at all today, but we've seen a steady stream of what looks like I believe this is video from earlier, right, Amber? Because I think it's nighttime right now. Okay.
Yeah, so the live stream has gone down, but this is from just a couple hours ago, Amy, and this has really been what it's looked like all morning.
Yes, and probably still now. We just can't see,
now, yeah.
Right? Oh, I think we have the live bug up there. But this is, so a huge stream of Palestinians who are returning to Gaza's north because the ceasefire is in effect now. And basically going back to see what's left of their homes and businesses, their cities. I was reading about really a popular seafront. You know, people used to go here and this is where they vacation or hang out. And now you can see it's the site of just mass migration, and the tents and bombed buildings are around there as well. We know that hundreds of thousands of residents were displaced from north of the Strip, and that includes Gaza City. And we know that unconditional aid and entering Gaza is also a part of that deal, but there's no word yet. I have not seen anything in the last up until the last hour or so as far as is anything getting there. But they are expecting, I think, about 600 trucks to come in with humanitarian aid every day as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. But just an incredible scene to see all of these people kind of walking back and not knowing what they're walking back to, but they're going back home. Okay, one more thing, two more things. Sorry, two more. This is really important. We talked about the Medicare segment that we're doing next hour, 1 o'clock. Please email us your questions if you have any. We have some from you. Some of you have emailed over the course of the last couple of weeks. Thank you for those. We put some calls out on social media. Thank you for those. But we will be able to answer even really specific questions that you have about your plan. So join us at 1 o'clock for that and send us emails there. It's kind of little allday@fox.com is that email address. Okay, one more. Okay. Oh, you said what? Say that one more time. Oh, I don't even, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yep. All right, Jared is here. Let's bring in Jared. Let's do it. We were going to talk a little bit more about the pheasant opener, but, you know, weather-wise, I guess we could kind of generally talk about it, right?
Yeah.
How we looking? And I know it depends on maybe where you're going to be. But
it is. I would say, to sum it up, it's going to be warm and kind of breezy, if not windy, this weekend.
Okay.
I think it's kind of most of the state's going to be dealing with that, which this time of year brings down some of the leaves for the leaf peeping, too. And, yeah, we have the forecast up for today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So today is going to be a gorgeous fall day. 60s is expected all day long with the bluebird sky. Tomorrow, bright and nice again. The breeze is going to pick up for the cities as the day progresses, so it'll get gusty throughout out today. In the morning, it'll just be kind of cool and quiet. But I know the pheasant opener out in western Minnesota is going to be windy all day for tomorrow and into Sunday. But it's a warm wind direction, so we're going to be pushing almost 10 degrees and even above that for Sunday, above average. So getting pretty toasty out there. So looking pretty nice temperature-wise. There's chances of showers. There's a cold front moving on through, so with the pressure change, we're getting the winds, a little bit more cloud cover heading into Sunday, and I think those showers are just going to be kind of few and far between. So not a whole lot, but just some. I know some folks like to watch the radar. Like, oh, there's a couple down there, and it might be over your area, but canceling outdoor plans, I think the main thing you're going to be impacted by is going to be the wind.
Okay.
Long, so.
I've never been pheasant hunting. I know you said you had in high school. Dumb question, but will that affect the hunt at all if the winds are?
I would say so. Yeah. So growing up, we had like a very difficult land to walk, so it was like walking through these high weeds and stuff like that, and the dogs we had weren't great. Like, like super well trained dog. If you go with a really good hunting dog, it can be an amazing experience. But if you don't, you're like constantly yelling them to get back to you as they're scaring up, the pheasants, and then in this wind they're going to get up and then they're going to be gone. So it's you're going to have to be that quick shot. So I would say that's what they're going to be dealing with off toward the west. I know the governor, it's like his thing is pheasant opener. Because when at the fishing opener this year, I interviewed him. He's like, I really enjoy doing this, but my thing is pheasant
Ortonville. So over I think South Dakota, Minnesota border.
So I have friends are like right over the border in Millbank, so I was just kind of looking like, oh, it's really close to where they're going to be anyway. So, and the land out toward the west is a little bit different. It's a little bit flatter, more kind of that prairie look than some other places. But growing up, our land that I was fortunate to actually be able to hunt on, was my grandpa's land there.
Nice.
It was difficult. It was better for duck hunting because it had little potholes that the ducks would land in. So in the fields for the geese. But we tried pheasants, and there were some spots because you'd have like the tree rows between like where the plots of land were, and that's where the pheasants sometimes will run in those. So those are like little narrow strips that you could walk and then in the line and see which way that they would go. But getting back to your question, the wind will probably impact it quite a bit, because when those birds get up in the wind, I think they're going to have that to help push them away.
For sure. And this is not a question for you, but if somebody knows this, we had a viewer email us earlier this morning, Trent, thank you, and he said federal lands right now, because of the shutdown, are the federal lands open for pheasant hunting, which is a great question.
It really is. I would assume yes.
Don't know, so okay.
But I'm not an expert on federal land
If anybody knows, you can email us.
I'm guessing it's kind of like the state parks. Just don't hold me to this, but like you can still go in them, but there's probably no one taking care of it.
That's how,
so if they were gonna, clear out where you can park and stuff like that, that's not gonna be, taken care of there. But I would assume it would still be open. There's just not gonna see any rangers or anything like that right now.
Yeah. So Jared said, go ahead. And if you get in trouble,
here's my email address.
Just kidding. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Hopefully you can get outside and enjoy some of this as well.
Should be good.
All right. Thanks, Jared.
Got it.
Okay. Can we take a quick break? Yeah. Taking a break. Coming on back. He says, yeah, it's a Friday. We're glad that you're here. It's a gorgeous Friday. If you like, this kind of weather. And All Day Live will continue right after this. All right, welcome back to All Day Live. It is 12:20 on this finally Friday. Happy weekend, everybody. We wanted to bring you an update on just a great story that our Amy Hockert did a couple of years ago. There was a group of elementary school students who were raising money for a Ninja Warrior themed obstacle course. This is in South St. Paul, and they were doing it in honor of a classmate they had lost to cancer. Corin is back there today, 2 years later. Corin, how's it going?
Great here, Amy. Capoche Elementary School is definitely fighting like Ninja Warriors. You can see some of it behind me here. Yeah, that was Jameer Shorter that they were honoring. He passed away from his battle with cancer a few years back now. It's been about 5 years. And he loved the Ninja Warrior horses, and so they built one in his honor, and then they've just kind of built on that. So when we came here 2.5 years ago, it was a kind of a rudimentary Ninja Warrior area that they'd worked hard on, and they were very proud of, and they were honoring Jameer. But now, you know, they have raised twice as much money to get this done. Let me kind of show you, if I can, what they've done here. So they've added a lot of this stuff here. These little jump bits right here, just the blocks, the donut roll right here. I did a little something for the later newscast inside of that little donut roll. This giant mini mountain that they had built, and then like kind of the crowning achievement, this thing right here, I guess the wall. That thing's called a loo. It cost about $35,000, and it's both athletic and educational, and so, but the kids just love it. And then part of the thing is, these kids are doing the fundraising. These kids are choosing the pieces of equipment to add to this place, so they have ownership of it. And everywhere they go, they're reminded of Jameer, who was the reason for all of this. So Jameer, the memory of him, all the students who went to school here with him, they've all passed on to middle school. But I talked to one of their siblings. That's her right there, Haley Olson. Her brother was friends with Jameer. And, you know, some of the people who remember him still go to school here. But eventually, you know, all the people who remember him will be moved on to middle school and above. But Jameer will always be remembered because this course comes out every year, and these kids just love it.
So great. And they've raised this money. You know, you can be so proud of something when you put the work in for it, and obviously getting so much use out of this too. I mean, 2 years, Corin, has gone by, and it's just incredible to see what they've been able to pull off. I'm so glad that you circled back with them.
Yeah, well, I didn't just do it on my own. They actually sent me a very nice little letter telling me about all their updates. It was very, very cute. And, you know, they invited me back, and I absolutely could not say no, and I couldn't be happier that we came back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is fantastic. Well, this will be your story for tonight. I hope people can tune in, and if you happen to miss it, it'll be clipped online. But just a really great effort by everybody, and what a legacy, you know, to leave for that young man, too. So thank you, Corin.
You got it.
All right, we'll see you later. Be safe. I was worried with Corin. I mean, he's super athletic. Like, he just ran the Twin Cities Marathon, but also, you know, he tends to like he stretches himself. He pushes himself sometimes a little too hard. I worry about him. Okay, we're gonna do some regional headlines now, but first, Amber, if I could, we're getting some emails from people. Thank you for sending these, and I just want people to know I see this. Kathy, yes, we are gonna start with as simple as what is the difference between Medicare and Medicare Advantage. Absolutely, we're gonna cover that, and then Daniel is asking about information on like Blue Cross Blue Shield, some of the other companies. Absolutely. Blue Cross Blue Shield is going to be in a different category than some of the other things that we're talking about here. But yes, we're going to hit on all of that. I've got a whiteboard here that is
I can't wait
out of control.
So we thought the one last week was crazy. This one's crazy.
And then we have, of course, the expert. That's what's going to matter. Is this expert's going to be able to answer your very, very specific questions, the things that none of us can. So please tune in at 1 o'clock. Thank you for your emails, and we're gonna get things answered for you. All right, regional stories. You have put together an incredible regional block today. Some really, really
like when the news happens. A good day. It's a good day, right?
Like, I mean, really, you found some just really incredibly starting with that. The fire we talked about a little bit earlier up kind of on the North Shore. So what's the latest with that Crosby fire?
Well, it's growing quite a bit. So right now it's at 210 acres. At this time yesterday, it was at 50 acres. A little bit of good news to go along with this, though. They have been able to contain more of it. So we're at 35% containment right now. Yesterday it was just 10%. Part of the problem here, it's been a bit windy, wind gusts, and they were hoping for some rain overnight, and it sounds like they got a few sprinkles, but not nearly enough to really put a dent in this. So, they are hopeful that today they can keep firefighters on the ground and, keep this in check. Part of the park, or I believe the Superior Hiking Trail within Crosby State Park is closed.
Yes,
closed this morning.
There were several miles worth of that. So that is something to be aware of if you're up there or planning to go up there this weekend. Is just keep an eye on some of that. And then what was the thing you said yesterday about the drones that was so interesting?
So people love to fly a drone around and get a little, personal close-up on incidents like this, right? If you are one of those, don't do that here, because if you do, that means that the aircraft that are coming in and dropping all that water on the fire, they can't do that anymore. They have to clear the airspace, and the aircraft fighting this fire will not be able to do their job if you're flying a drone up there. So don't. I mean, I know, everyone's curious, but don't do it.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm sure it'd be unintentional if it happens, but still, like, to interrupt what's going on, and good.
And we don't want this to get worse than it is, right? Like I talked with Keith about this yesterday. This is considered a wildfire season, Amy. I mean, there's a ton of foliage on the ground. The leaves are dry. Everything on the ground is dry, and we actually saw drought conditions are getting worse up north right now. So it is dangerous. They need to get a handle on it, and they're working on it, but they need you to stay out of their way to do that.
And we know from covering like the Camp Fire and some of the more recent ones, it doesn't take much for things to shift into a horrible direction. Like it could, things can change one way or the other so easily. It's a very fragile situation. So we'll stay on top of that, and definitely if you're heading up there or if you are up there this weekend, just know that is going on for sure.
A couple other quick ones. Over by Brainerd, there was a school bus rollover. 2 students hurt yesterday morning, taken to the hospital. Sounds like they are expected to be okay, and just the bus here. Bus rollover, Aiken County near Spencer Township on Highway 47. So if you heard something about that, that's what's going on there. 2 kids hurt, but should be okay.
That's good.
Then over by Fargo, in the Page area, I know, Amy, you're a lot more familiar with this
Page, North Dakota.
Yep. So there was a combine and a freight train collision yesterday morning. So I've got a couple pictures here, if we could pull those up. The combine driver was killed in this incident. It happened yesterday morning. It's not clear what caused the crash here. A 33-year-old man driving that combine, again, died at the scene. The people on the train, not even hurt. Like they were just fine. 20 train cars derailed, spilling their cargo into the farm field. I do want to point out here, there was a lot of people commenting on the Highway Patrol's Facebook page, kind of bashing the farmer a little bit, Amy, and we don't know the context about what caused this crash, right? So I don't want to speculate, but I do want to point out it is the middle of harvest season. These farmers are working ungodly hours, like night, day, all the time. And fields like the ones in those pictures often cross over infrastructure. Highways, railroads, doesn't matter. The fields are going to be on both sides. And so, I mean, again, I don't want to speculate and say what may or may not have happened here, but farmers are tired and they're working hard right now.
Yeah, you grew up on a farm, you know. This is a really busy time. Thank you for that. And
Yeah.
then I think, do we want to do one more really?
Yes,
quick?
I want to quick shout out Royalton again, Amy,
Yeah.
because they've got their sponsored football game tonight, the Friday Night Lights National Contest by T-Mobile. We had them on, was it this week or last week?
Yeah, it was this week, Tuesday, I think. Yeah.
They're trying to get their football field renovated because it's not in great shape. We
It's
can show
bad.
some.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's dirt.
It's basically dirt.
It's dirt, and they've got like bleachers to hold like 10 people.
Yeah, I mean that's where people are
Look
sitting.
at that's all they have for bleachers out there.
It's quaint. The first time you do it, you know, first couple times, and then after a while you're like, can we just get some bleachers? Look how beautiful that area is.
It's stunning,
though.
and imagine, you know, you get more bleachers out there, you really set it up nice, and people can relax and take it in.
Yeah.
So tonight's a sponsor competition, but people still have time to vote for Royalton. They're one of 25 finalists in this competition.
Where were they? Did you check to
8.
see?
They're still
number
at 8.
still.
So when we had them on earlier this week, they were in the 9th spot. Now they're in the 8th spot.
Okay.
So they're creeping up. If you're
good.
watching right now, you can, you know, look them up and vote for them on the T-Mobile competition and bring them up a little bit. The grand prize is $1 million renovation for their stadium and field. So
yeah, you can vote once a day, I think, or once from in email per email a day.
Seriously.
And so they were like, we got 5 emails already.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, if you can help out at all, you feel inclined to do that. I know they would appreciate that. We'll check back in with
Very
them
much.
at the end of the contest too, and see, because even if they don't win the $1 million, already it sounds like the community is doing so much to kind of come together and just do
and
what
they do
can.
get smaller prizes.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
So the top 25 finalists do get a smaller prize, and I think they are planning to dedicate any upgrades that they do to a former coach that passed away.
Coach Lanners, who said has done so much on that for that field on his own. He was a coach there. Somebody who passed away, I believe, this past summer. Might have been
I believe
within the last year. But this is another layer of their story, is that they want to really dedicate it to him as well.
Yep.
So yeah, that is what we're following in Royalton. Let's see.
Can I do a quick, I know we're like really crunched on time, but another
it's
really
okay.
great update here.
Wait, I know what you're going to do.
It's the best update I've received.
Worth it.
Mako the dog.
Do you remember Mako, everybody?
Mako the dog.
First of all, let's set it up, because there was this small plane crash.
Yes.
Everybody has
In McGregor. Everyone
survived.
is alive. They're recovering.
They're recovering.
Which is incredible, because this was what the plane crash looked like. I mean, the damage, insane. There were 3 young adults on it, all in their 20s, and a small little Yorkie named Mako. This is Mako. He was missing after the plane crash. And I mean, Amy, we said, you look at that plane and you go, oh my God, like, I don't know. I mean, you hope.
So tiny.
You hope for the best. And they said Mako is really shy. He's really scared. They believed, you know, if he made it through the crash, he probably ran off, right? But they had crews up there for the last few days searching for Mako. The pilot that was on that plane was able to get out of the hospital, goes up there, starts calling for Mako, and Mako comes running, leaps right into the car. It's just,
wow.
it's the best possible ending we could have ever hoped for with this story.
I know,
really
the people at home
excited to
going,
share this.
it's a dog. I know some of you are saying that right now, and I get it. Everybody's going to be fine. Everybody who was on the plane, and that's the
Everyone's
most
recovering.
important thing. If you have a pet, though, and if you love your pet, like Mako's, you know, Dad does, you just know. And just seeing you had a picture, I think, of him in the car, the pilot in the car holding Mako, kind of leaving like the hospital or leaving the area.
Pilot suffered an injury to his eye, and he's still holding bandages on his face with one hand and holding Mako with the other hand.
Just the fact that the dog just came and heard the voice is something, because they said it's very shy, please don't approach it, you know, that kind of thing. So incredible. And you've been in communication with the pilot's mom.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So she confirmed all this for us. Dan Hanger with Fox 21 talked to her last night, and he's got some pictures up on their website. So we're working on sharing that out to everybody on our end as well. So just, like I said, a great ending to a story. And again, everybody's okay. It's not just about the dog. Yeah. But we do love that the dog is doing well, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I did not see that coming. Got to be honest, I really didn't. So that is a really good, ending on that chapter.
Yep.
All right, well, it's 12:34. We're going to take a break. Reminder, Medicare Advantage questions coming up at 1 o'clock. I see them coming in here. I see them coming. Thank you for sending them. all day at fox.com is where you're going to want to send any questions you have about Medicare Advantage. Big changes coming. Right now, we got to talk about it and look at your options, so that you can make the changes starting October 15th, so that you're ready to go January 1 and you're not caught off guard, because it's a really unique time right now. There are sort of unprecedented changes happening with Medicare Advantage here in Minnesota. So stay tuned.
Impact.
Yeah, All Day Live continues after this. Are we going to show it? Oh, okay, we're going to save it, but we have a very special Zen coming up for you later. But this is beautiful too. Como, love it. We'll be right back. And welcome back to All Day Live. We want to check in now. Here it is 12:37 on this Friday with Union Gospel Mission and their conversations on a bench. This has been a 24-hour, coming up on 24-hour live stream. It started at 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and Pam said that she would check back in with us. Pam Stigora-Axberg is CEO of Union Gospel Mission. How are you doing, Pam?
Good. I'm just trying to move my camera the right way here. I am doing, actually incredibly awesome. And people said, am I tired? And I've said, actually, the conversations are so interesting. The people are so passionate and care so deeply. That is where I am drawing all of my energy.
Who have you been able to talk to over the course of the last 22 hours since we last talked to you? What stood out to you as sort of some memorable moments? We had Mayor Melvin Carter. And we just finished with the chair and the vice chair of the Heading Home Ramsey Continuum of Care. I've had vice president from Securian. I've had someone from the St. Paul, Minnesota Foundation. I had someone from Excel Energy, Blaze Credit Union CEO, Topline, really faith leaders. I had our Church Partner of the Year. It has been a not-for-profits. We had Canine Inspired Change and Mile in My Shoes, who are partners and wellness for our guys. So we've had community leaders, we've had businesses, we've had faith leaders, every segment represented along the continuum of care. MACV
it's just been wonderful.
Oh, awesome. The goal here, let people know what you hoped to accomplish in these conversations. It's something that happened nationwide with 65 different rescue missions across the country who did this same kind of a live stream. What do you want people to know about the time that you've had here for the last 24 hours?
So as I thought about it, and I have to, I have more time to think about it after I'm done, because it's been almost back-to-back interviews with everyone. But it is, what I have found is in our community, people want to come together and say, how are we partners? I heard the word partnership better. We know that we can interrupt homelessness better when we do it with partners, and that partners where everybody does something that is better, or where we each let us do our own, that's when we become better together in our community at interrupting homelessness. So that would be one theme that I've really heard in the commitment. And then how we help those who are experiencing homelessness, how do we lift them up with dignity, with humanity? I asked everyone three words on what do they think of when they hear homelessness, and this theme of how resilient the individuals are, but how we provide dignity and humanity, and then how we provide forward a pathway of hope. And I actually have several ideas that came out of it that we're going to think about where we can have some better partnerships, and a few ideas we might try to initiate.
Awesome. Pam, thank you for checking back in with us. I'm glad everything went well, and just congratulations to you for doing this and for getting through the 24 hours and for bringing all of those wonderful conversations. Can people go back if they missed things? Can they go back and find some of these conversations later online somewhere?
Yes, we will be posting them to our YouTube channel and making those links available. And I think there'll be wonderful conversations that will really inspire, and I hope other people have ideas based on it, because this is about how in community, when we work together, we'll be able to interrupt homelessness.
All right, Pam, thank you, and congratulations to your team too. I know you weren't out there alone. It takes a small village to do a 24-hour live stream, so good job, everybody.
Yeah, thank you to the team too. I appreciate you recognizing that. I signed up for this. They didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good work, everybody. All right, have a great rest of your weekend. I hope you get some rest, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
have a good afternoon,
Pam. You too. All right. Let's see. Do we want to go to the? Okay, I know we've got Alexis too. We gotta get to everybody because we've got so much good stuff. Let's get to our Lauren Andrego, who is in, I believe, in Minneapolis, South Minneapolis to be exact. There's some national attention on a particular house there. You wanna fill us in? I'm just gonna let you go.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. It is a beautiful afternoon to be a Swiftie, especially if you're in South Minneapolis. I'm on 28th Street, right by Lake Nokomis and Lake Hiawatha, in front of a house dedicated to the life of a showgirl, or should I say, the life of a showghoul. This is a Halloween display that has been making the national and international rounds. The homeowner has been covered by a news station in Asia. In a couple weeks, she'll be doing a live shot in Australia, and has even gotten the attention of Travis and Jason Kelsey. This whole display was created by Miranda, who you're going to meet in a second. Look at these. This is not Taylor Swift's album. That's not Speak Now. That's Scream Now. 1889 haunted version. Taylor Stiff. Reputation, good enough. Doesn't need to be changed. And Lurker. I think that might be my favorite. The scary edition of Lover. Miranda Sokup is the genius behind this whole display. We've seen dozens of people stop by in the last hour. How does it feel, Miranda? You have got to be in complete shock with all the attention you're getting.
It is crazy, the amount of people coming to the house to enjoy it, the amount of social media attention, the tags, the sharing. It's crazy, but I think it goes to prove there are so many Swifties.
There are a lot of us. We ride deep. We're a deep army. We talked about the national, international coverage. You were also on the cover of the Star Tribune's variety section today. I heard your dad bought several copies of the newspaper.
He's very excited.
You put so many details into this. Do you know how many hours you put into this display?
I mean, we brainstormed for 6 weeks, but then we were quick to set it up because I wanted it up by October 3rd when the album released.
Sure.
So my sister spent the whole weekend hot gluing feathers, making bracelets. We set everything up in my garage so we could just bring it to the front of the house when October 1st hit.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's check out more of this. So we've got the showgirl herself here in a beautiful outfit. Miranda's sister wore this dress to the Eras tour, so it's pretty much certified authentic. And then back here, not the new heights, it's the new frights. That's Travis, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl trophy, obviously. He's got the bling. Jason Kelsey with the Eagles. And then here is the life of a show ghoul. Gorgeous album cover. Miranda did all this artwork herself. You're a graphic designer,
Yes.
and it shows. We got to go check out the Boneyard, too, because if you're a hater of Taylor Swift, sorry, you made it in here. Scooter Braun, Kanye, and Amy, this isn't you. Don't worry. This is Kim Kardashian. You don't need to worry. The snake is in the graveyard. We've also got Team Jacob, Ghosts of Taylor's Past, all sorts of little tiny Easter eggs, if you will. And that brings us to kind of the main front steps here. We have friendship bracelets, bookmarks. Miranda says folks have been coming here and bringing their own friendship bracelets and trading them for the ones that she made. And here's a Taylor Swift cam. So she wants you, when you come visit, to come pick up this Ring camera and record a little video of yourself visiting. What have you been hearing from people who have stopped by? And have there been people, like, this has been a constant flow 24 hours a day?
Constant flow. I think the weekend was the most fun. A lot of people were on the way to the movie or to like dance parties downtown. Little girls were getting out in their sequins dresses and their feathers. They already have merch. Like, I've seen the orange cardigan in my yard already. So they're dressed up, they're excited, and then they get to come here and experience the Halloween version.
Oh, it's so cool. Well, thank you for putting this together. You've made a lot of Swifties very happy, including myself. Best of luck. And people can come visit this display whenever?
Please come visit, come take a bookmark, take bracelets. I'm trying to keep up on that. We are crafting every day.
Oh my gosh.
And hope to see visitors on Halloween, especially if you're Taylor Swift costumed out.
Yeah.
So.
Miranda, thank you so much. All right, Amy, we are on 28th Street, South Minneapolis, not too far from Minnehaha Falls. So if you're a Swiftie and you're in Minneapolis, you have some free time this weekend, I think it's worth a stop.
Writing down the address right now. Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you so much. Oh, just a yard after our own heart. Love it. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of it, our friend Alexis, not Pearson, Alexis something else. We'll talk about that when we come back, because we haven't talked to her since she got married. We're going to talk about the Wild. What a statement coming out of the gate. Season opener. She's going to join us right after this. And reminder, send us your Medicare Advantage questions all day at Fox.com. That segment coming up in about 10-15 minutes. And we're going to take your questions live and get them answered, more importantly. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back as we round out the 1 o'clock hour on this Friday. How about those Minnesota Wild last night? Coming out of the gate, it was on the road, not at home, but nonetheless, a resounding win, 5-0 over the Blues in St. Louis. Joining us now is our friend Alexis. Hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. Look, we coordinated. We're wearing wild colors. We didn't even plan this.
I love it. I love it. I did not say your last name just yet because I want to work it. I want to work it out with you.
Okay. Yes.
So you got married. Congratulations. And
I
want to hear
did.
about
Thank
that
you.
in a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Alexis, who's? Yes? Who's?
Yep.
Oh, wait, I'll ask you. Yes? Good? Thumbs up. Oh, you're back. Thumbs up? Okay.
Huss.
Okay.
Yes,
Huss.
Alexis Huss.
Huss. Okay. The way I was like, really, last night I was trying to make my mouth do this, and then I was trying to figure out how I could write it out so that I could remember.
There's no good way to write
There's
it.
no good way.
There's no good way to write it. I know.
Because it's a unique, it's not not ooh, it's
Nope.
Huss.
It's something in between. Yeah. People think it's Huss. That's how you would say it if you just read it how it looks. Yeah. And then if you try to explain it, people do too much of an O and they say who's. So you got to split the difference. It's something in between. But like I told you yesterday, if you say it wrong, you won't be the first or the last. But people have started to get the hang of it now over the last couple of months, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. I wasn't used to saying it for a while, but now we're almost 3 months actually tomorrow since I got married. So it's been a great few months.
Yeah, last time we talked to you, it was in the thick of it, and I think it was in August or something, and you were like on your way between about 17 different errands, and I mean, you know, it's part of it. But the day was good. And everything went well.
Yes, it was wonderful, and everybody's been asking, you know, since, like, how's married life? And I keep telling everybody, nothing has changed, but everything is better, because life it stays the same, right? We've been together almost 5 years now, so we've been together a long time, but everything is the same but better. So it's been wonderful, and I love being married, and it's been great. The wedding was awesome.
Well, you're just glowing even more than usual, so we're so happy for you, and we're happy, and I know you're happy because the Wild are back. And last night, tell me about the game last night, because I think going into it, you know, we knew there's some injuries, and just didn't quite know what we were going to get.
Yeah, man, this injury bug, we just can't stay away from it the last couple of years. And unfortunately, it hit us here before the regular season even started, with Zuccarello out long-term. Nico Sturm is having back surgery and out long-term. And then, of course, Jonas Brodin not in the lineup as well. But the good news is he should be back even as soon as tomorrow for that home opener. So unfortunately, missing a few big pieces, but that didn't seem to slow down the Wild at all. I mean, wasn't sure what to expect. Anytime you come into a new season, you can have high hopes and high expectations based on the roster or what they did last season, but you never really know until you see them in action. And seeing them last night on the road against a division rival, a team who at times they've really struggled to play well against in recent years, they had no issues with the St. Louis Blues last night. They got scoring from a lot of different players picking up points last night. And Philip Gustafsson in that second period, when we really needed him to make some saves, he made all of them, and then the Wild get one shot on net and add to their lead. So really, they did just about everything that you would have hoped they would do in a season opener last night, and hopefully that carries on into this home opener tomorrow.
Yeah, is it too, one game in, a little bit of preseason, is it too early to, because I'm so impressed with the depth, and that's always such an important piece here. Do you think we should kind of just hold our horses a little bit on, getting too excited about that?
Well, Amy, one thing about me is I love to overreact, for better and for worse. So what I will say is, as exciting as last night was, and yes, it showed a lot of promising signs of what this team could be capable of this season, between goaltending, defense, offense. Special teams looked at times like it could maybe still use a little bit of work, but overall, so much to be excited about. But yes, it's an 82-game season. This is one game, start of the season. We say in hockey, I want to see 20 games before I really make a decision about what I think about a team. Get me 20 games. In those 20 games, you're going to see some games on the road, some away. You might see a back-to-back in that stretch. You'll see some divisional opponents, some opponents you maybe don't play as much. And I really think that gives you a good encapsulation of what this team is going to be capable of doing long-term in a season. So am I excited? Yes. Did I see a lot of things I loved? Yes. Am I ready to start the Stanley Cup parade for the Minnesota Wild? Not quite yet, but maybe in 20 games I will be ready for
Okay,
that.
all right. I thought I'd try to get you there, but not quite. Okay. If we had more time, we could talk a lot about Gus Bus and just how elite he was playing last night. But I do want to look ahead, though, to the home opener, which is going to be incredible. What are you going to be looking for in that home opener?
I want to see what we did yesterday and copy and paste that onto home ice. I mean, this is a really special season for the Minnesota Wild. We're celebrating 25 years of Minnesota Wild hockey, and people who were around when this team came into existence. I was around, but I was very young. People who remember the North Stars leaving and the Wild coming back. This is a really memorable thing to know that we've had hockey back in the state of Minnesota with this Minnesota Wild team for 25 years. So I hope that the amount of excitement over this season and how special this season is from a historical standpoint, I hope that propels this team to do some good things. And the Wild historically have done pretty good in their home openers, so I'm hoping that carries into tomorrow as well, and that we can pick up a win against the Columbus Blue Jackets.
How's that going to feel for you walking into that? I mean, new name. You're a married woman now. I mean, it's just going to be a whole different experience for you.
So many new things. I mean, when I went to the first preseason game that I covered for the Wild, just seeing Grand Casino Arena on the rink was odd. And then at the end of when you throw to break on the radio, you say this is Minnesota Wild hockey presented by what used to be XL Energy, which now we say Grand Casino. So every time the announcers or Kevin Fallness throws it to break, they're keeping tally of who messes up the most and says XL Energy Center instead of Grand Casino. So I think we're all getting a little used to it. But it'll kick in before we know it, and we'll be right back in the swing of things. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks for jumping on with us today. I really appreciate it. Everybody, this is Alexis Huss.
Yes, you got it.
Nailed it. I got it. Okay, I'm super excited. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be checking in with you really soon because the season is rolling.
It is rolling, and looking forward to it. Thanks again.
Have so much fun tonight, or during the home opener. Sorry. Bye. See you later. Bye. I was focusing so hard on saying your last name. I was like, I got it. All right. We're going to, we'll take a little break, right?
Yeah,
Remember? And come back because we want to start as close to that 1 o'clock time this weekend.
Yep. So we're going to throw up a quick camera and lower third one more time to email us some questions on Medicare.
There you go. All day at fox.com. Your questions on Medicare Advantage. What are you worried about? What does your plan look like?
What are you not sure about?
Yeah, what are you
like? What the?
Exactly. We're going to answer, hopefully, all of that when
all day at fox.com.
Come back. Welcome back, everybody. This is our 1 o'clock hour of All Day Live, and we wanted to dedicate 30 minutes to something that is so important, something that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks, and we will continue to talk about every week until we get everybody on the other side of this into the new year and beyond, really. We want to talk about Medicare, Medicare Advantage specifically. So I'm going to go over a few things. I have a bit of a whiteboard here that I think we can kind of zoom in on as well. And then when I'm done with this, in about a couple of minutes, we're going to be bringing on an expert from the state, Medicare product manager, who's going to be able to answer as many questions as we can get to. So please email us at allday@fox.com if you have questions or need clarifications on something that we're covering. We already have a bunch, and we're just looking for more. If you can bring them, get them to us, we'll bring them to her. Okay, so just wanted to go over a couple of basic concepts here, so we have a foundation to go off of, and then we'll post this online. And I want to start with, very simply, the difference between Medicare and Medicare Advantage, which is at the center of what we need to talk about. So original Medicare, if you want to, there you go, thank you. Original Medicare, I've broken it down into these two parts. So this is health insurance for people who are 65 and older, and also people under the age of 65 with disabilities. This is that government-funded health insurance. There are the two parts you see, right? There's A and there's B, and these are both part of original Medicare, just plain old Medicare. Okay, so Part A, if you work 10 years full-time, you qualify for premium-free, no premiums, Part A. Part A covers things like hospital care, inpatient care, hospice should you need that. That's what Part A covers. Some of the other things with Part A, you can see any doctor or hospital. You don't have to worry about in-network, out-of-network. It is a pay-as-you-go system, so there's that, but also there's no spending limits, so it can be harder to kind of keep track of because there are no spending limits. It does have deductibles and co-pays, but again, no premiums on Part A. Part B, if we go to Part B, this is different in a couple of different ways. So Part B is you do pay a monthly premium. This is the one that covers things like doctor services and medical supplies, so kind of the medical coverage here, and also has deductibles and co-pays, just like Part A. So these are the different parts. You might have A, you might have B, you might have both. The one thing I want to point out before we move on from original Medicare that is going to be really, really important and we cannot emphasize enough. Original Medicare does not cover your prescription drugs, which is Part D. So we've got Part A and B, part of original Medicare. Part D is, think of drugs, D for drugs. Part D is prescription drugs, and neither of these will cover your prescription drugs, okay? Really, really important to remember. Now, there's some details that we're gonna get into in a second to help bring some of this together. Why do we need to know the difference between original Medicare and Medicare Advantage? All right, let's take you down now. Medicare Advantage, and sorry, there's a little bit of a glare there. Medicare Advantage is called Part C as well. It includes Parts A and B, also includes Part D, that's your prescription drugs. So if you have Medicare Advantage, you've got A and B. You've also got your prescription drugs covered. This is sold privately. So Medicare Advantage is a plan that you'd have to get privately. And some of the things with Medicare Advantage, you do have to use doctors and hospitals that are in network, unless it's an emergency, like an urgent care emergency room. There are annual limits on the out-of-pocket costs, so that unlike A and B up there, this can help you kind of keep track of things a little bit because they have limits. Also does have the premiums, deductibles, and co-pays, okay? So that's the basics. That is what original Medicare is and Medicare Advantage. So now we kind of have a groundwork to go from. Okay. We're getting to the expert in a second, I promise, but I think this will save us a lot of time, and maybe your questions will get answered if we do this. Changes are coming, and this is why we're telling you about this. Big, big changes are coming as of January 1st of 2026 for Medicare Advantage plans, okay? So a lot of these are gonna change. depending upon who you have as a provider. We want to talk about Medigap policies, some of the things you can do to help make sure that you have everything you need going into the new year. Part D prescription drug coverage. This is a big one. Remember, I said this is a big one. We want to make sure that you have coverage for prescription drugs if you need it. And then I want to emphasize that no matter what happens, I just want to make everybody aware, rest assured, no matter what happens with all of these changes, you will have Medicare. You will have original Medicare. After the first of the year, you will have that. You're not going to be left without any insurance. You will have Medicare, original Medicare, as the first of the year rolls around, no matter what. Now, there's all kinds of, about 100 different roads we can go down now based on your specific experiences, and we'll get to some of that here in a second. I do want to bring in our expert here because I think I want to get to some questions, and she can help me round out the rest of this. Kelly Jo Greiner is joining us via Zoom, and she is, well, she knows everything about all of this because we spent a good deal of time on the phone the other day, and you really kind of know all of the ins and outs of this, the Medicare product manager. And if folks have ever used that senior linkage line, which is now the Minnesota Aging Pathways, toll-free number, call, get some advice. That's you. That's what you do. And so you've heard it all. Thank you for being with us and for taking questions today.
Well, thank you for having me. I am very excited to be here today, and hopefully we can help people get the information they need to make good decisions for 2026, because there's a lot of things happening right now.
So much. We will, if you're not here with us live, we will post this online and clip it, and you can share it with people who may need to hear this. But there's so many different ways, like I said, that we can go here, Kelly Jo, and I know we do have some viewer questions. I did want to just point out with you so that you can help me make sure that I'm doing this accurately. I did go through all of this with you to make sure. This part, though, we want to talk specifically about the people who need to hear this the most. Your advice was anybody who has Medicare Advantage should just kind of look into it, right? But specifically, we need to talk about certain providers here, and if your coverage is with them, you really need to pay attention, right?
Definitely, yes.
All right.
Because the plans are changing, and they're changing greatly. And one of the biggest problems every year is Kaiser Healthcare Policy Department does a survey on people that made changes to their Medicare Advantage or Medicare Part D plans. And every year it is the smallest number you can imagine. So most people with Medicare do not look at their options during open enrollment, and then they start the new year with a plan that in many situations is not best for them. They may not be able to afford it. It may not cover their drugs. It may not cover the providers they want to go to. And so these are big issues we're talking about here. And if there's one message we can get out to people is this is not the year to ignore Medicare open enrollment. It is not the year to do that.
Yeah. Check that ANOC, the annual notice of change that comes in the mail from your provider. Don't put it aside. Don't throw it in the trash. Open the mail from your provider, I think also is what we want to make sure people do. Really quickly, I'll go through and then we'll head back to these, but I wanted people to know UCare. So I don't know how far down we can scroll here. Sorry, guys. UCare, this is the big one. If you have Medicare Advantage with UCare, you need to pay attention because you will lose your Medicare Advantage when the first of the year rolls around. You will. Everybody with UCare. They are pulling out of Minnesota when it comes to their Medicare Advantage plans. Know that. That's a huge one. 160,000 Minnesotans, give or take. Also, this is different now, but United Healthcare, Humana, Health Partners, and sorry, this is Aetna down here. Pay attention. It's not a guarantee that you're going to lose it, but they are pulling out of some counties. So you need to know if you are in a county where they are pulling their Medicare Advantage plans. All right, let's bring Kelly Jo back in, and let's start taking some questions because I want to make the most of our time here. And I know we've got some up on the screen here. So here's one for you, Kelly Jo. I'm turning 65 early next year. We'll continue to have employer health insurance. Not planning on retiring next year, but not sure about when I might decide. So is there anything I should be doing now to prepare for the current or future changes in Medicare to prepare for the future?
This is a great question. And there's a couple of things. First of all, if you're contributing to a health savings account, you don't want to enroll in Medicare Part A right now. Most people, when they turn 65, will take Medicare Part A because it's premium free. But if you're contributing to a health savings account, don't enroll in Part A. Then regarding Medicare Part B, you do not need to enroll in Medicare Part B until your employer group health insurance ends and you decide to retire. And you have an 8-month time period to enroll in Medicare and purchase the options to fill in the gaps. It may be a Medigap policy. It may be going into Medicare Advantage. You know, those basically are the primary changes that you're going to make. And one thing I do want to mention is if you do have retiree coverage through your employer, you are still going to want to enroll in Medicare Part B if you retire, and that is the coverage you have. The significance of that is Medicare Part B, you don't enroll in until you need it because you're paying a premium for something you don't need if you have employer drug coverage. You're also doing something called wasting your Medigap open enrollment period. When somebody first enrolls in Medicare Part B, they have 6 months to purchase a Medigap policy without any underwriting or health screening. If you don't purchase it during that time period, you can be health screened and the insurance company can deny and refuse to sell you a policy. So it's really important people understand that. So there's a couple of pieces to that, but as long as you have group health insurance coverage, you're satisfied with it, you're not retired, you're good to go.
Okay. All right. Do we have another question that we can pop up there? What is the difference between Medicare Advantage and Medigap? This is a great question, right? We've talked about the difference between original Medicare, Medicare Advantage, but I know, Kelly Jo, you wanted to talk about Medigap as well.
Yes, Medicare Advantage is that plan, also known as Part C, that combines original Medicare, Part A and B, and prescription drug coverage, Part D, all into one private plan that is sold by insurance companies. The positives about these options, or the pros of them, is they can be less expensive than a Medigap policy. You must, however, use the providers that participate with the plan in order to get the maximum amount of coverage and payment. And if you are out of the network and have an emergency, your service will be covered. But if you're out of a network and need to see a provider and it's not an emergency, then you will have to pay out of pocket. The other thing about Medicare Advantage is they have a maximum out-of-pocket limit for Medicare Part A and B services, but that doesn't include the prescription drug benefit. The prescription drug benefit is separate. And that cap for 2026 is going to be $2,100. So thankfully that did change and we got rid of that donut hole.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we have Medigap, and Medigap is also known as Medicare supplements. And these are meant to work together with original Medicare Part A and B. So people purchase a Medigap policy to fill in the Medicare A and B gaps, the deductibles, and the coinsurance that are not covered by original Medicare. The one thing you want to remember is if you decide to go with a Medigap policy, you pay the premium every month. There are no networks of providers. You can go to anybody that is taking Medicare patients, but you will not have prescription drug coverage unless you enroll in a separate prescription drug plan. We call them standalone prescription drug plans. So in that situation, you'll have original Medicare A, B, a Medigap, and a Part D plan. With Medicare Advantage, you're going to have one plan to get everything.
Okay. So those of you, for instance, who have UCare and your Medicare Advantage is going away. This is something you need to pay close attention to because you may need supplemental coverage to get you through because you're going to fall back on this original Medicare, and that may not be enough. So this is what we're talking about, this Medigap. And to be able to get this, you need to go through a broker, is that right?
A broker or an agent to purchase a Medigap policy.
Okay.
That is the best route to take. They know Medigap policies. They know what would work for you and what would not work for you, and we really encourage people to go that route. Okay. And if you have questions about this regarding agents and brokers, you can certainly call the Minnesota Department of Commerce. Okay. They license insurance agents and brokers in Minnesota.
And we've been showing, of course, the line formerly known as a senior linkage and now known as Minnesota Aging Pathways. That's the number. You've said it's been very, very busy. People are understanding that there are big changes coming. I just want to say this a couple of different times during our 30 minutes together, but when should people call? Times of day that are better? When should people call that number to get the information they need to then go and make the changes with an agent or a broker?
That's a great question. We tend to be the least busy right away in the morning, and we open at 8 a.m. and we are open till 4:30. We also, because we are so busy, are really encouraging people to contact 1-800-Medicare. That is a call center that is run by Medicare. These folks are highly trained and they help people all over the nation look at plan options and enroll in plans. If you have a computer, we encourage you to go to www.medicare.gov and look at the plan finder where you can actually pull up options for you that will cover your drugs, you'll find out what the premiums are going to be and what the costs are going to be. And new this year, Medicare is adding the list of providers. So it basically is now becoming a one-stop shop that people can really go to medicare.gov. They can find the options best for them, and they can actually enroll in a plan.
Okay, and just really quickly, we're gonna take a break, come back and do a bunch more questions. But if you go online, one thing you mentioned yesterday, we won't get into details, but you may need some help. There's a two-factor authentication that needs to happen. Get somebody to help you out with that. These are things that confuse me as well sometimes. So just know that if you're going to go online to do that, that is part of what you'll need to do to get that personalized experience. We're going to take this break, and we have a bunch more questions we want to get to, and then we might have to just do this again another time because we have just so many people that have questions. Thank you, Kelly Jo, for sticking around. All Day Live continues with your questions on Medicare and Medicare Advantage when we come back. I can't hear myself. There we go. We're taking your questions today on Medicare Advantage. We're really glad that you're here. Kelly Jo Greiner is here. She's a Medicare product manager and has, I think, all the answers. So let's take some more questions from our viewers here. What do we got, guys? We've got, I think we definitely got a lot more to go here. Let's see. Sometimes. There we go. I live in Albert Lee. Why is the benefit coverage options for us worse than it is up in the cities? Why isn't the same coverage available to us why isn't the same coverage available to us at a higher premium?
That is a great question. And the reason for that is the Medicare reimbursement to the Medicare Advantage plan varies by county. So in rural counties, they tend to get less money. And so they may not participate in as many counties and they may have higher premiums.
And that is what's happening, just by the way, here in these counties that are affected with United Healthcare, Humana, Health Partners, and Aetna. These are the counties where they're losing money and pulling out of those specific counties. That's why it's sporadic with them. But UCare, everybody, all of the Medicare Advantage plans are being pulled. Again, United Healthcare, Humana, Health Partners, Aetna, specific counties. Okay, let's go to our next question. Father-in-law is losing his UCare Medicare Advantage plan in 2026. I'm unsure who even offers a plan in his area. He is in Lyon County.
I would encourage you to call 1-800-MEDICARE or to contact Minnesota Aging Pathways, because what you need to do, and if you have access to a computer, you can actually go into Medicare.gov Plan Finder and you can look up what plans are available in Lyon County. I know Lyon County does have some Medicare Advantage plans that are available this next year.
Yep. I know Health Partners is not one of them. I looked that up. And going online and searching for which counties, I tried to do that yesterday, and it just it's not easy to figure out. So really go through, as Kelly Jo said, those resources to get the crystal clear answer, not whatever AI generated answer you end up getting. This is too important. Okay, next question is, I'm currently on UCare Complete. What would be a good compatible plan for me to change to?
Another great question that I can't answer unless you go through the Medicare Plan Finder tool, because that will show the plans available to you depending on where you live, what the costs are, and what the coverage is. I can tell you there are comparable plans out there, and it's important people know that. Even though UCare is leaving the marketplace, there still are options for people, and there's good options out there for people. And we don't want them to just ignore this and not take any action during open enrollment.
Yeah, you don't want to get into this and go to the doctor and then come home and get a bill for prescription drugs or for, a higher deductible or something. Just definitely take a look now. Let's go to another question here. UCare plans were popular because of the convenient credit card you could use to pay for dental, hearing, and vision care. This card was loaded with $1,600 in 2025, $2,000 in 2024. With the UCare plans no longer available, will any other Medicare Advantage plans have something similar?
Some of the plans will have something. I don't think it's going to be quite to this high of a level as UCare offered. That again was another one of the really popular aspects of the UCare plans.
Kelly Jo, you said people signed on to UCare and they stayed with UCare. This was really popular to stay on. And this is like the first time they're having to take a look at this.
We have found that UCare enrollees, for the most part, were very happy with their plans, and they stayed with them through all these years, and now they have to make a change. They're not happy about it, as you can, I'm sure, understand, and there's probably some of you that are on the call that are not happy with what is happening. But that adds to the importance of reviewing your options and making a good decision for 2026.
All right, next question. Let's take, do I need to enroll in Medicare if I'm a disabled vet and I'm currently using the vet hospital for my needs? Great question.
That is a great question. If you are satisfied with the vet services that you're receiving, you do not need to enroll in Medicare, but here's the important thing to keep in mind. If you need to go to another facility that is not the vet hospital, your veterans benefits in most situations are not going to pay for those services. So that is why many veterans enroll in Medicare. So they have that should they need to go to a Medicare-based provider.
All right. Thank you for that question. Thank you to everybody. Let's keep going and try to get through as many as we can. Someone told me you can use HSA funds tax-free to pay for Medicare Advantage premiums, but cannot use them as tax-free for Medigap or Part D premiums. Is this correct?
That actually is correct, believe it or not. Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
Easy answer. Okay, next is, do you know what's going on with MRRA?
I am not sure what MRRA is.
I was hoping you would know because I was like, what? Not sure what that is. Okay, so if that person...
Medicare, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, if that person can email us again and just let us know what that acronym is, that would be fantastic. I'm sure it's something really important. All right, here we go. Hello, I have a family plan through my employer. I pay for the best plan my employer offers. What would be the best options for my son that has a heart condition? I live in Farmington and then go to Mayo for his checkups.
And that is a big issue, people being able to go to Mayo Clinic. And I understand from what you're saying here, I don't want to assume anything, but is your son on Medicare, Social Security disability, and has Medicare as a result of his disability, and he wants to go to the Mayo Clinic? The Mayo Clinic does not participate with many Medicare Advantage plans at all. They take original Medicare and Medigap policies. So you are going to want to look at Medigap as an option if you have employer coverage right now, and I'm sure your employer is paying for him, but should that change, that's when you're going to want to look at a Medigap option for him so he can continue to go to the Mayo Clinic. I think there are maybe a couple Medicare Advantage plans that participate, but it's very, very few. Mayo sent out a letter this fall to their patients letting them know that they are not participating in most Medicare Advantage plans for 2026.
That is really, really important for people to know. Thank you for that question. Do we have any more on graphics? Here we go. Do I need to carry Part B if I have Freedom Blue Give Back Blue Cross Blue Shield plan? Blue Cross Blue Shield we haven't talked about here, Kelly Jo, so why don't we address those who have Blue Cross Blue Shield? What do they need to know, and specifically this question?
Yeah, there are definitely changes happening with Blue Cross Blue Shield as well. And I'm not sure what you mean by the give back. What I can tell you is to get Freedom Blue, you do need to have Medicare Part A and B. So I don't know if that helps answer your question, but I'm not sure what the give back is, because I'm not familiar with a give back Blue Cross Blue Shield plan. Maybe I'm missing something out there.
Okay, we'll look into that. And again, you're not seeing Blue Cross Blue Shield listed here as one that has indicated they're going to be pulling out of certain counties, but definitely if you have Blue Cross Blue Shield, you have Medicare Advantage, just check. Everybody should just be checking at this point. Okay, we're going to take one more for now, to be continued though. What happens for the elderly that are receiving county help for assisted living and nursing homes? Great question.
That is a great question, and I'm sure that is tying into what the unknowns are about Medicaid or in our state medical assistance program, and we don't know at this point in time. We are all very hopeful that there will not be disruptions for people that are in assisted livings and nursing homes, but we don't know until all of the regulations regarding the changes to the Medicaid program are issued. The other thing that I want to mention for people that have Medicare and are in assisted living or a nursing home, Medicare has a very limited benefit, and it basically covers 20 days in full, and then from 21 to 100 days, those are copay days. So it's important people understand that you really can't think of Medicare being the benefit that's going to pay for your nursing home or assisted living. That's why the vast majority of people end up on medical assistance in Minnesota, because the costs are high and very few people can continue to pay those costs over long periods of time.
Okay, we are going to wrap up the questions here and just kind of wrap up with the timeline, and then we will continue this conversation. We'll do this again. Let's do this again in the very near future, and then we will put these online and string them together, and so we can get as many questions answered as possible. Clearly, there's a huge demand for answers here. So I just want to wrap up with the timeline, Kelly Jo. So between now and October 15th, we're kind of in this research phase, right? Everybody should be figuring out what they want. What happens on the 15th of October, and what are the timelines?
On the 15th of October, people can begin enrolling in plans for 2026. And that enrollment for most people goes through December 7th. What is unusual for the UCare enrollees is they have extra time to enroll in a plan. They don't have to do it by December 7th. But if they want the coverage to take effect January 1st, we strongly encourage them to enroll before the end of the month in December. So they've got some kind of coverage, including the prescription drug coverage. And then the coverage decision you make starting on the 15th through December 7th is what you will have as your plan in 2026.
Okay, so December 7th is really such an important date to remember for everybody. If you get it in by then, you will have that coverage starting on January 1. After that, no guarantee, right? It could start later. So December 7th, very, very important. Kelly Jo, thank you for your time today, and not to put you on the spot, but we want to kind of keep doing exactly this, probably even almost weekly between now and, you know, when we get over this hump. So thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for
thank you so much. And those two people that stumped me, get that information in so I can learn something too.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yes, thank you. We'll talk soon. All right, Kelly Jo Greiner, Medicare Product Manager at the state of Minnesota. We're going to take a quick break and come back. Again, much more to come here on All Day Live. We're going to go up to Duluth when we come back and talk about what's happening in downtown Duluth, and a little bit later, Eric Decker is going to join us live here on All Day. And welcome back to All Day Live. 1:34 is our time, and Thank you to everybody who sent in all those questions. We have so many more that we need to get to, so we'll do that segment over and over and over again and hopefully get as many answered as possible in the coming weeks and probably even months. We know that you know Duluth. You love Duluth. You're very probably familiar with Canal Park, the area along the North Shore, but you may not know as much about the downtown area. Just a quick walk from Canal Park. The marathon, of course, is there, and you can go up and down the hills and be part of it and see that area. But downtown Duluth and the city have teamed up for what is kind of an aggressive plan here to transform downtown, and they don't want to do it in 10 years or 20 years. They have a plan to try to do this in 5 years. So joining us now is Christy Stokes, president of Downtown Duluth. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, it's great to be here.
So set the stage for us, for those who've been to Duluth, but maybe not know as much about downtown Duluth. What is it like in its current form right now?
Well, our downtown, we still have a lot of activity in our downtown, and a theater district, a historic arts and theater district, and kind of our downtown core. And Canal Park is really part of our downtown area. But we've seen vacancies like many downtowns across the country, and especially some challenges since the pandemic with individuals who are unsheltered or suffering from mental health addictions and things like that. So we're really focusing on the next 5 years and how can we get some really good quick wins.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years, it seems like a long time. It's not, though. So it's interesting. You got to focus in on some specific things. And one of the things it sounds like you want to do is make downtown more walkable. So what are your plans around that?
So I think one of the quick probably wins that we could get with that is just better wayfinding. When you think about Canal Park and then you think about the downtown, it feels like a divide with the freeway there. And there is just a short walk from our Gitchio de King Park and to the Lake Walk and then to Canal Park. And so we want to try to do some better wayfinding even across that Lake Avenue Bridge over the freeway, different ways to just make the storefronts a little more activated so it feels like you're bringing the storefronts out to the street and the street into the stores.
You just mentioned, people who are homeless and their mental health issues. We know any city is trying to navigate these things. How does this plan address that?
So we as an organization actually have an outreach specialist that works not only with individuals who are unsheltered, but also individuals in our business community and really serves as a resource. We've teamed up with a lot of the other nonprofits in our community to work toward that as well. But we have a number of things going on with some of our nonprofits in which our shelter is looking at an expansion. And so they are starting construction on that right now to be able to build capacity. Right now we have an extreme housing shortage in our community, about a 1.8% vacancy rate. And so this is where we need to build more housing and just think about what would happen if we could get everyone housed in our community.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about that, residential downtown. How many people live downtown, and is that, part of this bigger plan to attract more people downtown to live?
Yeah, our bigger plan is really to try, the mayor actually has a plan to grow Duluth's population, right? And so we are also looking at growing our downtown population by about 1,500. And so I think this is an exciting time for us to look at buildings that are underutilized. Like many downtowns, we have some of those office sector buildings that aren't fully utilized. We have about a 22% vacancy rate in our downtown, and so we can look at some of those properties and say, how can we put them to better use, get them activated with residents?
You mentioned the mayor. I'm curious if mayor, city council, like unilaterally, is everybody kind of on board with this? And then we can talk about costs too.
Right. One of the things that we did when we went into this plan is we said this can't be Downtown Duluth's plan, it can't be the city's plan, it has to be the community's plan. And so we did a lot of public meetings, we did focus groups, we did listening sessions, we did tours, just a lot of ways, surveys, ways for people to give input to it. So the city administration has been involved with this since the beginning. They're on our steering committee. We've included a city councilor, a county commissioner. So we're really trying to have a very broad representation of individuals taking this on. And then now, you know, like we thought some of this was heavy lifting. Now's the real heavy lifting when we get to the implementation. And so now we're trying to also say who can take the lead on this section, who can take the lead on this section. So it's not all going to be focused on just the city doing it or our organization do it. It's others that are coming and stepping up to the plate and saying, okay, this is where we might be able to take a heavy lift.
5 years, what will people be able to sort of see, or what will be tangible to people, and what does that timeline look like?
Yeah, you know, this is really fresh for us right now of being able to kind of talk about it, because we've worked so hard on like developing the plan, and now we're like, okay, how is this really going to roll out? One of the things that we said is, you know, in the next few months, we at least want something implementable that people can see, you know, out on the street and in the community, that we can say, okay, that was part of the downtown plan. We are doing an evaluation of the Skywalk system right now, and so that truly is part of the plan too, is to look at our Skywalk system. We've got about 3.1 miles of that, and some of it is very underutilized. So we want to just look at it and see how either does that become much more activated somehow. Do we look at different ways to direct people? So we want to do that, and we want to make sure that we have an active street. So when you're trying to activate 2 levels of a downtown, it becomes a little bit of a challenge, as you know.
Definitely familiar with that, where we are as well.
Right.
Chrissy, thanks so much for joining us and just bringing us kind of into this, into the fold here on what's going on. Really, really interesting, and we hope we can kind of keep in touch and along the way and see how things progress.
Thank you so much. We're really excited about it and see this as just a new, fresh vision for our downtown area.
All right. Thanks so much, Chrissy.
Thanks.
We appreciate it very much. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, let's see, you want to take a quick break? You want to check weather? Okay, let's do it. We're going to check the weather and then come right back. And on the other side of the break, we've got Eric Decker. He's going to be joining us. You know who Eric Decker is. Decorated, a Gopher player. Obviously, one of the, actually, I think the most decorated receiver ever to come out of the U of M. Also NFL, and happens to be on Special Forces right now. I don't know if you're watching that. And there's a lot of stuff in between too. So we'll talk to Eric when we come back. Let's do a check of the weather and a quick break. All Day Live continues after this.
Blue sky and sunshine, that is how we do it on a Friday, coming off of it was a gorgeous day for most of Thursday as well, don't get me wrong. We just saw some clouds build toward the end of the day, and some raindrops came a-calling in the evening hours, even a couple of claps of thunder in the metro. That got on out of here overnight, left us with the 50s this morning and some cooler temperatures today comparatively. We were 71 degrees for a high on Thursday. We'll go for 67 today, but today we got sunshine top to bottom. Across the day. None of these late day clouds today. A gorgeous fall day, or if you prefer a fabulous fall Friday, because I like the alliteration. 67 for a high is about 6 degrees above average. Sunny and mild with northwest winds, though 10 to 15 miles per hour, bringing in an occasional puffy cool gust here and there, but absolutely beautiful. Think of it as this way, keeping the bugs at bay. Tonight, nice and quiet. Overnight lows in the 40s and 30s. Then for your Saturday, bright and beautiful. Highs in the upper 60s. Simply stunning with a few late day clouds building, especially out west. Those will lead to some showers in western Minnesota Saturday night and into Sunday. As they cross the state, they get weaker, they fall apart, but we'll see some patchy showers on Sunday, but it'll get gusty with drips. Mostly cloudy and very windy with these patchy showers. A high around 72 on Sunday thanks to those gusty breezes up to 30+ miles per hour. By the time we work our way to Monday, cooler, yes, but still above average at 62. Average by next week is in the 50s. By Tuesday, average high is 59 for this time of year with some passing cloud cover, and then we start to warm up. We'll be back to the low to mid 60s by Wednesday and Thursday, by the way, heading into MEA weekend. And a week from today, we might just be kissing 70 once again. Fox 9 All Day Live continues. We're back right after the break.
Welcome back. There she is. Miss Amber.
Amy, I just had someone special log on.
What? Who?
We weren't sure if we were going to get it in time, but Eric Decker is on the line. Eric, give me a nod if you can hear me.
Fantastic.
Oh, he's got me, so that means he'll have you. Amy, you want to talk to Eric?
Let's go. Let's do it.
I'm working on getting these lines.
All right, Eric Decker, everybody. Most decorated gopher receiver ever. NFL stud. Cold Spring native, Ricori High School. I mean, just all of the things, not to even mention the fact that he's just been doing a lot of really good stuff since he retired from football, a lot of nonprofits and a lot of really good work. So, Eric, thanks for joining us today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So, okay, you're back home. It is homecoming weekend at the U. What do you got cooking this weekend?
Yeah, so I'm excited for a homecoming evening game against the Boilermakers, but I partnered with Buchanan and this really cool activation on campus, actually at Stubborn Herbs, which is not far from the stadium, but it's the big ass keg of soap. And so we're putting a bunch of soap in a keg, and there's going to be some mobile showers there for all the fans that are enjoying their afternoons around campus, pregame and getting ready, and they can come rinse off, get clean for the day, and watch the Gophers get a W.
I love it. The hygiene is a high priority for Gopher fans. We know this, so that is awesome that you're doing that. You've come back for other homecomings and other games, right? I mean, this is nothing new for you. What's it like to come back and be around this environment?
Yeah, it's nostalgic in a sense, just because so many great memories I've built on campus. And really, I got my last year, we opened the new stadium on campus my senior year. So that memory was absolutely incredible. It's a core memory of mine, the first day of playing in the stadium. But just to be around, like you said, the environment, the fan base, and it's really special when you think about going from the Metrodome to campus and getting the students way more involved. And this time of year in Minnesota, you can't beat football weather.
That's right. How are you sizing up your Gophers this season?
It's been fun. Kind of watched the journey so far this season. Last weekend, obviously, we're all disappointed, and Ohio State has a really good team and can pay for a really good team. Let's just be matter of fact. But young, good quarterback. Guys that are playing well. We're developing, and so I'm excited to see kind of what we do the rest of the year. I love PJ Fleck. I love kind of his philosophy and what he gets out of his guys, and you can tell they all buy into the program. So I'm hoping for success the rest of the year.
Eric, are you watching the Vikings at all?
I have been, yeah. We've been tuning in. My son is a huge JJ fan, so he loves watching the Vikings. They had a big win. Last 30 seconds of last week, and so it's good to see the success there too. They got to figure out their quarterback situation, I feel like, but other than that, I think the coaching staff does a great job of putting the guys in positions, and making playoff runs is what we hope for.
Absolutely. He loves. We got a couple JJs. You've got a JJ. Your wife Jessie James Decker. Your family now. You guys are kind of out in the headlines again, and people are really paying attention because you are on the season of Special Forces World's Toughest Tests. I have to ask you, was it what you thought it was going to be? Like, what's your threshold for being uncomfortable?
Yeah, it was probably more than I thought it was going to be. I've had friends previously that did the seasons prior, and you have this idea that, okay, physically it's going to be tough. I've been through tough camps, physical moments in my life, but really it's just being retired and being out of it. It's more the mental and emotional part of it. Like, these days are really long. The first day we got up at 4:30 in the morning. They put us through a bunch of stuff. They actually beasted us, they call it. It's like this workout at nighttime, 11:30 p.m. So really, all day you're just like this anxious feeling. You got cortisol levels that are just roaring, and it's like, man, what's next? And the food stinks, and the combinations are terrible. It's really hot and dry. But doing a lot of the things we did were bucket list things for me, and so to be able to do that and kind of bringing back the team mentality of kind of trauma bonding with a lot of my wife and a lot of folks that are in the industry was really cool. That's the one thing that I miss about sports, and that I got a little taste of it doing special forces, was the camaraderie, the team aspect part of it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you talk about, you guys, you've been married, what, 10, 15 years, something like that. Yeah. We have kids, and you have a much more interesting, exciting life than I think most of us, but we all tend to fall into just patterns and routines. And so I'm so curious to be in that kind of environment with somebody who you've been through in the trenches with in different ways, but never quite like this. Like, what was that like for the two of you?
Yeah, we didn't know what to expect, because obviously, you're in your routines, you're in your habits, you kind of have, your little vices and things, but being kind of exposed in a sense in the middle of a desert and really just a whole different environment was really actually fun to kind of see, like, for me, Jess thrive. I mean, just to see the grit that she has come out, and the resiliency and the toughness, and all the characteristics that I see at times in life, but not to this degree. And so it was really, really fun to see her in that environment. Really, her kind of mama bear came out, making sure people were eating and drinking water and doing those things. So again, fun just to be in that environment and see the different parts of my wife.
That's awesome. Well, we're enjoying watching it. It's phenomenal to see you guys in this way. I have to ask you one last question here about, like, Minnesota. What's something that you miss about Minnesota, like a food or anything?
Well, I was just back last weekend. Brought my boys with me. I got inducted into the Corey High School Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
So for a long weekend, and got to fish. It was a really nice weekend out. It was like 80 degrees, which is abnormal for Minnesota. I actually jumped in the water. It was so nice. But I think just kind of the lake fishing, frying fish up, is one thing that was a staple of my upbringing. I lived on a chain of lakes, and that was a big part of our lifestyle. And so just to be able to get back and get a little taste of that and introduce my kids to it, who love fishing as well, and then be able to eat it and enjoy it. That's probably the biggest thing I miss. Not ice fishing, but the fishing when it's warm out of the lake. I can do that.
Let's be clear, yeah, for sure. Remind folks where they can find you on Saturday.
Yeah, well, so it's going to be at Stubborn Herbs. It's near the stadium. You'll see some logo wear out there, but you'll see a big thing of showers. Get you some soap, and if you can't make it, you can go to any Walmart or Target nearby and grab kind of the Midnight Swim thick body wash and try it out, or ducan.com as well if you guys can't make it. Otherwise, Stubborn Herbs on campus.
Nice. Eric, thanks for making some time for us today. We're glad that you're able to make it home. It's always fun to kind of check in and see where you guys are at in your life, and things are looking good. You have a beautiful family and a lot of people who are really proud of you, so thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
You bet. Take care. Have fun this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Eric Decker, everybody. Amber, we are rolling
Got
through
about
here.
2 minutes left, Amy, and I've got a couple things I want to squeeze in here quick. Leo, I dropped in a new super here, if you see it, between age 5 and age 6. Amy, some new details out of Red Wing. Remember me telling you about that school threat this morning that had the schools on a lockdown and then a secure is what they're calling it. I just got a release from the district and the police saying that they actually did charge somebody this morning after a several-hour investigation, a 33-year-old. Charged with disorderly conduct linked to this threat. I'm just reading this, so pretty raw here, but there was a phone call at Burnside Elementary this morning in which the caller stated that someone was going to bring a gun to the school. No additional details were provided by the caller. So that's what prompted that lockdown this morning. They said, remember I said it was kind of like lifted for a little bit and then put back in place. They said there was some miscommunication. So it was just kind of a, wires crossed there in Red Wing this morning, but secure went back in place. They thought they had a suspect. It was not the initial suspect. They let that person go, put the schools back on the secure, find this person who actually made the call, charge them this afternoon. And yeah, that's what I got, Amy. Everything in Red Wing now should be all good.
Okay, yeah, and the messaging here is they'll find you. I mean,
They'll
you know,
find
we've seen
you.
Minneapolis
It was a matter of hours.
track down somebody in like Missouri recently.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the dumbest thing. Do not do this, you guys. This
it really is.
These pranks and stuff. They're
really
gonna
is.
find you. So don't do it.
Thing.
All right.
One more quick thing before we go here. I've got the picture of Mako the dog and his owner. So Leo, if we could pull up producer PC.
So small plane crash, Aiken County, right?
Aiken County near McGregor. It was literally like just outside the McGregor airport where this plane crashed. This is the pilot of that small plane crashed on Sunday night. 2 other people on the plane with them. Everybody is recovering. One person's still in the hospital, but should be okay. Mako the dog was lost, now found. His owner got out of the hospital, went up there, started calling Mako's name. Mako came running. Sweetest reunion ever. Amy, Dan Hanger texted me and said he's actually talking with all 3 of the people that were on that plane as soon as the 3rd person is out of the hospital.
Fox 21, Dan Hanger, yep.
Dan Hanger, Fox 21 out of Duluth, so I hope to share that story with people as soon as he's got that wrapped up.
That is just the best way to end the week and
best
the
way.
show. I love it. Thanks so much for being with us here, everybody. We appreciate it so much. And have a great weekend. If you're going pheasant hunting, be safe. And we will see you back here on
I almost said tomorrow. It's Friday. Yeah,
it is Friday. Monday. Let's get out of here. Let's go.
We can hit Tower Family.
We'll see you Monday.
Oh, Astra the polar bear at Como. This is the new polar bear there.
All right. Love it.
10 seconds of Astra. Then we're hitting break. Bye, everyone.
Bye.